his legacy is really equality, that people are important, and that people were always first for him.
He was my baseball coach, little league coach from the time I was 5 until I was 15. He never missed a practice, never missed a game. He was that good coach that the other kids kind of wished was their dad. He was someone who brought people together. He officiated my sister's wedding. Other friends of the family, he officiated their wedding. He was the person who made a difference in so many people's lives. And over the last month, people have told me that your father was the person who I asked his opinion on big decisions in my life. He was the one who helped me make this decision that changed my life for the better, or he was the one I worked with that got the most out of me.
One of the things I miss most is his presence, because Brent couldn't come into a room that you didn't know he was there. It was just, everywhere we went, when he came into the room, it just lit up. He was just that person. We watched It's a Wonderful Life on Christmas Eve, and we both sat in tears, and we've seen it. It's our favorite movie. We've seen it 40 times. But that vulnerability of him just letting something touch him and showing the emotion that came with that was just a really big thing that I know I'll miss. Not having that partner to watch movies with and cry with. So those are things I can think of.
Laugh. He had an infectious laugh, and he was a funny person and storyteller that made you want to laugh when you were around him. And I miss that. And we worked together, and we've worked together for years. I still work at the company that he co-founded, and our offices were next to each other. And I miss going into the office and him being there. And it's just tough sometimes to go in. And the office is, as of today, still the same way that it was. But someday I'm sure we'll have to take all the things out, and it'll just be a little difficult to go there not having him there.
In grief, we tend to not be sure what to say to other people. And we don't want to make people feel like, oh, if I say their name, they'll be sad. It's like, that's okay. Say their name. Because sad it's an emotion I'm going to have for the rest of my life, off and on. So for me, my daughter didn't die in vain. My husband didn't die in vain. They live here. And so what I can do is I can take the gifts they gave me, and I can introduce the world to them. I was married for 43 years. Brent lives here. He lives in my heart. I love him. There are things that he taught me. There are things that, because we were married, I grew and I became a better, more mature person because of him. And so to say his name and to allow his legacy to live on is so important to me.
Something that has always been difficult for me throughout this period, especially with COVID, is that there are so many numbers associated with it. I've personally spent probably more time than most people analyzing the numbers related to COVID. It was part of my job. And for many people, that's what my father will be. He will be a number, one of the 10,000 people in the world who died on January 25th because of COVID. But my father is obviously so much more than a number. He was a storyteller. And by telling his story, in some ways, it honors who he was and keeps him alive. I believe that we can never know the impact that we have on the world, and that impact doesn't end when our life ends.